Your soulmate will love you at your lowest point, not when your life looks perfect on the outside, not when you are smiling for the world, not when your bank account is full or your confidence is loud, but when you feel invisible, when you question your worth in the silence of the night, when you are tired of being strong, when your heart feels heavy for reasons you cannot even explain, because real soulmate love is not attracted to masks. It is drawn to truth, and your lowest point is often the most honest version of you, the version that no longer performs, no longer pretends, no longer begs for approval, the version that simply exists and hopes to be understood. And this is why you must understand something deeply important right now. If someone can love you when you are broken, exhausted, confused, and unsure of yourself, that love is not temporary, that love is not conditional. That love is not based on what you provide, but on who you are, because your soulmate does not fall in love with your success, they fall in love with your soul, and your soul shines brightest when your ego is quiet, when life has humbled you, when you are stripped of illusions and standing bare in your truth. And this is why so many people meet their soulmate after heartbreak, after failure, after loss, after disappointment, after a season where everything felt like it was falling apart, because endings create space, pain creates depth, and depth attracts the kind of love that stays, the kind of love that does not flinch when you cry, the kind of love that does not leave when you cannot give your best, the kind of love that sits beside you in silence and says without words, I am here, you are not too much, you are not a burden, you are not broken beyond repair. And if you are listening to this while feeling low, while feeling behind in life, while feeling like others are moving forward and you are stuck, this message is not random. It is reaching you now because you need to hear this truth before doubt convinces you otherwise. Your current state does not disqualify you from love, it prepares you for the right one, because superficial connections require you to be impressive, but soulmate connections require you to be real, and being real often happens when life breaks you open, when you stop chasing validation and start craving peace. When you stop wanting to be chosen by everyone and start wanting to be seen by one, and this is where your soulmate enters, not to fix you, not to save you, but to walk with you, to hold your hand while you rebuild, to remind you of who you are when you forget, to love you in ways that feel safe instead of intense, calm instead of chaotic, steady instead of uncertain. And you may think, why would someone choose me now, when I have nothing to offer, when I am tired, insecure, healing, uncertain? But this question itself comes from a wound created by conditional love, from a world that taught you that you must earn affection by being useful, attractive, successful, or happy. But soulmate love operates on a completely different frequency. It sees your softness as strength, your sensitivity as depth, your scars as proof that you survived, and your lowest point as an invitation, not a rejection, because someone who is meant for you will not wait for your glow-up, they will witness it, they will love you before it happens, during it, and after it. And this is why the timing of soulmate love is never about convenience, it is about alignment, about two souls meeting when lessons have been learned, when illusions have been shattered, when ego has been humbled, when the heart is finally ready to receive without fear. And if you look back at your life, you will notice that every disappointment shaped you, every heartbreak refined you, every lonely night taught you something about yourself, and none of it was wasted, it was all preparation. Because the love you are meant to receive requires the version of you that exists now. Not the one you used to be, not the one you pretend to be online, but the one who has felt pain and still believes in love, the one who has been hurt and still chooses kindness, the one who has fallen and still stands up with hope. And when your soulmate finds you, they will not ask you to hide your sadness, they will not rush your healing, they will not make you feel guilty for your emotions. Instead, they will create a space where you can finally exhale, where you can rest, where you can be quiet without being misunderstood, where your presence is enough. And this kind of love does not announce itself loudly, it arrives gently, almost quietly, often when you least expect it, often when you have stopped searching, often when you have made peace with being alone. And that is the paradox of soulmate love. It finds you when you no longer believe you need to be saved, but simply understood. And if right now you feel low, empty, or unsure, remember this: you are not unlovable in this state. You are becoming unignorable to the right soul, because the right one will see your lowest point not as weakness, but as honesty, not as damage, but as depth, not as a reason to leave, but as a reason to stay. And staying is something your soul has been craving more than excitement, more than intensity, more than dramatic love stories. Because after everything you have been through, you no longer want a love that burns fast and disappears. You want a love that warms you slowly and lasts. A love that does not ask you to be cheerful when you are hurting or strong when you are exhausted. A love that understands that healing is not linear, and some days you will feel okay and some days you will feel like you are starting all over again. And your soulmate will not be confused by this. They will not pressure you to be consistent with happiness. They will be patient with your process, because they are not in love with a phase of you. They are in love with your essence, and essence does not change just because circumstances do. And this is why your lowest point is not a delay but a doorway, because when life strips you down you become honest. And honesty is the most magnetic energy there is, far more powerful than confidence built on ego, far more attractive than perfection built on fear. And someone who is meant to love you deeply is drawn to this rawness, because they are tired too. They are tired of pretending, tired of surface-level connections, tired of relationships where love feels like a performance. And when two tired souls meet, something sacred happens, not chaos, not fireworks, but recognition, a quiet knowing, a feeling of being home without knowing why. And this recognition does not require you to impress, it requires you to exist. And this is why you must stop believing that your broken moments make you unworthy. Because the right love does not enter your life to consume your light, it enters to sit with you in the dark until your light returns on its own. And you may notice that when your soulmate appears, they do not rush things, they do not force labels, they do not overwhelm you with promises. Instead, they offer consistency, presence, and emotional safety. Because they understand that someone who has been hurt does not need grand gestures, they need reliability, they need honesty, they need reassurance that silence does not mean abandonment and space does not mean loss. And this kind of love feels unfamiliar at first, sometimes even uncomfortable, because your nervous system has been trained to expect chaos, to equate love with anxiety, to associate closeness with pain. And so when something calm arrives, your mind may question it, but your soul will recognize it, your body will relax, your breath will slow. And that is how you know this love is real, because it does not take from you, it gives to you. It does not drain you, it grounds you. And you will slowly realize that being loved at your lowest point is not about being pitied. It is about being chosen, chosen without conditions, chosen without timelines, chosen without expectations. And this choice heals wounds you did not even know were still open, wounds from being ignored, overlooked, replaced, or made to feel like you were too much or not enough. And as this healing happens, something powerful shifts within you. You stop apologizing for your emotions, you stop shrinking to be accepted, you stop questioning your worth every time someone pulls away, because you are finally experiencing love that does not disappear when things get heavy. And this experience rewrites your understanding of relationships. It teaches you that love is not meant to hurt. That consistency is not boring, that peace is not empty, and that being deeply seen is far more fulfilling than being intensely wanted. And if you are wondering why this message is resonating so strongly with you right now, it is because somewhere inside you already knows this truth. You know that your heart has been preparing, that your pain has been shaping you, that your loneliness has been teaching you discernment, and that the love coming toward you will not arrive to distract you from yourself, but to walk beside you as you finally choose yourself. And this is why you must not rush your healing, must not settle for attention that feels inconsistent, must not accept half love just to avoid being alone. Because the one who is meant for you will meet you where you are, not where you pretend to be, and they will love you not despite your lowest point, but through it. Because love that survives your darkness will cherish your light in ways you cannot yet imagine. And once you experience a love that meets you in your darkness without trying to change you, you begin to understand why everything before it had to fall apart, why people who could not stay were never meant to, why doors closed even when you begged them to remain open. Because a soulmate connection does not compete with chaos, it replaces it, and replacement only happens when there is finally space. When your heart has learned discernment instead of desperation, when you no longer chase what runs from you, and no longer explain yourself to those who do not listen. And at your lowest point this clarity becomes sharp, because pain strips illusions faster than success ever could, and this is why your soulmate will recognize you even when you do not recognize yourself. They will see your value when you are questioning it, they will speak gently to parts of you that have only known criticism, and they will not demand that you heal on their schedule, because they understand that love itself is part of the healing, not the reward at the end of it. And this love does not feel like pressure, it feels like permission, permission to rest, permission to feel, permission to be human without fear of abandonment. And slowly you begin to notice that the version of you who once felt unlovable starts to soften, starts to trust, starts to believe again, not because you were convinced by words, but because actions stayed consistent. Because presence did not disappear, because silence did not turn into distance. And this consistency becomes the language your soul has always been fluent in, even if your past experiences taught you to ignore it. And you may still have moments where fear whispers that it will end, where your past tries to protect you by expecting loss, but your soulmate will not punish you for these fears. They will meet them with reassurance, with patience, with understanding. Because they know that loving someone at their lowest point means loving them through their doubts as well. And this kind of love does something extraordinary. It does not erase your past, it redeems it. It gives meaning to your pain. It shows you that what broke you also opened you, that what hurt you also refined you, and that the depth you gain through suffering is what now allows you to experience love on a level others may never reach. And this is why you must stop comparing your timeline to anyone else's, because your journey required depth before union, awareness before attachment, and solitude before connection. And if you are listening to this while feeling behind, remember that some people meet love early but shallow, while others meet it later but deep, and depth takes time, and your soulmate will not make you feel late. they will make you feel right on time, because when they look at you they will not see someone who is damaged, they will see someone who survived, someone who learned, someone who chose softness in a hard world. And they will love you in a way that feels like a continuation rather than a beginning, like recognition rather than discovery, like remembrance rather than surprise. And this is how you will know that this love is different, because it will not ask you to become someone new, it will encourage you to return to who you were before the world taught you to doubt yourself. And loving you at your lowest point means standing with you as you remember your strength, not replacing it. And as this happens, you will realize that your lowest point was never the end of your story, it was the threshold, the moment where you stopped performing and started becoming, the moment where you stopped settling and started aligning. The moment where love stopped being something you chased and started being something that met you where you stood, and when that realization settles in, you will no longer fear being seen in your vulnerability, because you will understand that the right eyes see beauty where others only saw weakness, and the right heart stays where others walked away, and this knowing will change the way you love yourself as well, because you will finally treat your own heart with the same gentleness you once reserved only for others, and in doing so, you will complete the final preparation for the love that chose you at your lowest and will cherish you for the rest of your becoming. And what makes this kind of love so rare is not that it is dramatic or loud, but that it is steady when everything else has felt unstable, because when your life was collapsing, when your confidence was fading, when your faith in people was almost gone, your soulmate did not arrive to add intensity, they arrived to add safety, and safety is often misunderstood in a world addicted to emotional highs and lows, but safety is what allows love to grow roots, and roots are what keep love alive when storms come, and at your lowest point you stop chasing butterflies and start craving grounding, you stop wanting someone who excites your insecurities and start wanting someone who calms your fears, and this shift is not accidental, it is evolution. Because your soul has learned that love should not feel like survival. It should feel like support, and this is why your soulmate will not be intimidated by your honesty, they will welcome it, they will listen without trying to fix, they will hold space without judgment, and they will remind you that you do not need to be healed to be loved, because love itself is a place where healing happens naturally. And this is something past connections could never give you, because they loved potential, not presence. They loved what you could become, not who you were in the moment, and when you could not meet their expectations, love became conditional, transactional, exhausting. But soulmate love is different, it does not keep score, it does not threaten to leave when things get hard, it does not disappear when you need reassurance, and this reliability teaches your nervous system a new language, one where closeness does not mean danger and vulnerability does not mean loss. And as this language settles into you, you begin to open in ways you never have before. Not because you are forcing yourself to trust, but because trust is finally being earned consistently. And in this space something beautiful happens, you start to heal parts of yourself you thought were permanently broken, you start to believe that maybe you were never too much, maybe you were just asking the wrong people for the right kind of love, and this realization is both painful and freeing, because it asks you to forgive yourself for staying too long in places where you were not valued. But it also gives you permission to release guilt for leaving what no longer aligned, and your soulmate understands this process. They do not rush your forgiveness, they do not demand your vulnerability, they allow it to unfold organically, because they are not afraid of time, they are not afraid of patience, they are not afraid of depth, and this patience becomes proof of their intention. Because someone who plans to stay does not need to hurry, and when you are loved at your lowest point, you begin to understand that love is not about being chosen once, it is about being chosen daily, especially on the days when you feel unlovable, and this daily choice creates a bond that is quiet but unbreakable, because it is built on reality, not fantasy, and you may still have days where you feel heavy, where your past echoes loudly, where your energy feels low, but your soulmate will not take these moments personally. They will not withdraw affection, they will not make you feel like a burden, instead. They will remind you through their presence that you do not have to carry everything alone anymore, and this shared weight makes life feel lighter, not because problems disappear, but because companionship changes everything, and this is why meeting your soulmate at your lowest point is not a tragedy, it is a blessing in disguise. Because love found you when you were real, not rehearsed, when you were honest, not impressive. And that love will know how to stay when you rise, because it already knows how to stay when you fall, and as you continue forward from this place, you will no longer fear losing love by being yourself, because you will finally understand that the love meant for you is not threatened by your truth, it is strengthened by it. And this understanding will become the foundation for everything that follows, the peace, the growth, the joy, and the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you are loved not conditionally, not temporarily, but wholly, exactly as you are. In every season of your life. And when you finally look back at this phase of your life from a place of peace, you will realize that your lowest point was never meant to break you, it was meant to reveal you, because it was in this quiet, vulnerable, uncertain space that you stopped chasing love and started understanding it, that you stopped begging to be chosen and started honoring your own worth. And that is exactly when the love meant for you could finally find you, not to rescue you, not to complete you, but to walk beside you as an equal, as a partner, as a soul that recognizes yours without explanation, and this is why your soulmate will love you at your lowest point, because they are not in love with the image of you that shines for the world, they are in love with the truth of you that exists when no one is watching, when you are tired, when you are quiet, when you are healing. And this love will not feel like pressure to become better faster, it will feel like permission to breathe, to rest, to grow at your own pace, and slowly you will notice that the very things you once felt ashamed of become the reasons you feel deeply connected, because being loved when you felt unlovable teaches you how to love yourself when you feel weak, and this lesson changes everything. It changes how you set boundaries, how you choose people, how you speak to yourself in moments of doubt, and how you no longer settle for love that requires you to shrink. And if you are listening to this right now while feeling low, while questioning your value, while wondering if real love will ever find you, let this truth settle into your heart gently. You are not late, you are not broken, you are not too much, you are becoming, and the love that is meant for you will not wait for your perfection, it will meet you in your humanity, hold you in your vulnerability, and stay as you rise. Because love that finds you at your lowest point does not leave when you reach your highest. It grows with you, it honors you, it chooses you again and again, and one day you will realize that this chapter, the one that hurt, the one that felt lonely, the one that tested your faith, was the chapter that made everything else possible, because it taught you how to recognize real love when it finally arrived. And when that moment comes, you will no longer ask why it took so long. You will simply understand that it arrived exactly when your soul was ready to receive it.